Go ahead, Kevin. Jump in because I know your time is limited.
Oh, I was just,
Hi, Kevin.
hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mr. Style and Profile, the
Oh
Dr.
yeah,
Style?
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Kevin, the smooth man. What's up?
Yeah.
Learn a lot.
You touched a serious nerve with that myth of white womanhood thing.
Oh, I know. I didn't think it would be that big.
Oh, it's going to get worse.
Oh, Jesus. Don't tell me that.
Last night, at Thanksgiving, I actually went to my mother's house. And, my God, do you know that these women actually made it was 25 plus people there, all three generations.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to run the men out of the kitchen, out of the dining room.
Really?
They wanted the men to go sit in a complete different room, but the women were going to sit at the big decorated table with the kids' table right next to them.
What?
I came in and they said, let's come in and do the prayer, such and so forth. And I looked and we prayed, and my stepfather, who's 77 years old, was there. My mom was like, okay, guys, make your plates and go into the other room. The ladies got the big room. And I was like, whoa, what'd you just say? And the guys were going to go make their plates. I'm like, what did you just say, Mom? Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, the women are going to sit in here and the kids you guys going to be up there watching the football game. I was like, I love you, Mom, but I never saw this happening at your mother's house. Why are the men leaving the big table? Well, it's just going to be in there, girls. We cooked all this food anyway. Y'all didn't cook nothing. I'm like, so you're just going to, so needless to say, they basically saw me and my mother have a red pill conversation. I was like, this is part of the problem we have going on in the Black community. Mm-hmm. The men are going to go truck in there because they don't want to make any fuss or any problem. I'm not supposed to say nothing because you're my mother. Yet you're emasculating an entire group of men from kids to 70. Mm-hmm. This is the problem in the Black community. What's red pill? I'm like, glad you asked.
Did you storm off? Did she storm off? Did you walk off?
No, she wanted to know.
No. I played James Earl Jones, your video.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Because a lot of these women were baby boomers. They were 55 plus.
Oh, okay. Oh man, you opened up a big can of worms. Oh my goodness.
I did. Dude, they opened it as far as I'm concerned. They tried to get out. We're talking every man. Mm-hmm. We were going to go sit in the living room. I'm like, this is not cool. So what ended up happening is we had a 4-hour-long conversation about the problem in the Black community, and you're going to probably see some new subscribers and some people who come to your channel asking you questions.
Wow. Okay. Because even though basically the whole series was just supposed to be just an observation, because I told Ron Wills I had a video coming from. It was supposed to be one video, and the women got mad and said, "Okay, let me prove it to you." So I showed them, and then one of my subscribers said, "Look, I got." Remember the James Earl Jones video we was talking about Black women? So I said, I looked at it again and said, yeah, man, you're right. So I actually did that with a commentary, and then all of a sudden this shit kind of blew up. I said, wow, what the hell?
Well, I think this might be bigger than your Monahan piece.
Well, because James Earl Jones is such an icon in Black America, and he came from that time period. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there listening to a lot of these women, and then you had the biggest portion of the group was baby boomers and Gen X.
Right.
And I tied it all into, I was like, look at all my cousins across the table, all of you beautiful women with your children and your grandchildren, but you're all single.
Oh my God.
I was like, Mama.
Did you say that though?
Yes, he did. He said it.
What happened?
I was like, Mama, I love you. But if you said what you said, I was like, I can roll out the stats, statistics, such and so forth. But in Black community, you'll say, prove it to me. And then I roll out the numbers, and then you'll say that don't exist because I don't like the numbers. My mom came in and basically tried to stop this entire conversation. I was like, and she was like, well, show me what you're talking about. I wrote out the video. Oh, I don't believe that. I was like, remember what I just said? If she wasn't my mother, I could check it. I was like, if she wasn't my mother, I could check her. But because I can't, I have to be in deference because we live in a matriarchy. I was like, the reason you're trying to move men out is because you guys we went into it.
And so,
You know, it's
And it
funny,
wasn't
Mr. Samuel.
Let him finish.
Hold on.
Let
Not
him
in
finish.
time.
Oh, let him finish. Let him finish.
It wasn't an angry conversation. It was a conversation because I have a certain amount of respect in my family,
Mm-hmm.
and they sat there and listened. And I was like, look, guys, Generation X, you're all by yourselves. Look at my mom's generation. I was like, Mom, you got married at 55 years old when you finally decided to settle into your femininity, but your sisters are living that coven thing right there.
Mm.
And I was like, the net result of it is you end up with none of these boys protected. All of these women is a strong, independent, black woman, and everyone is upside down, and we're trying to figure out the problem in the black community, but it ends up representing itself right here at this time. So I couldn't swallow that. I couldn't go sit in a room. I was prepared to walk out and never come back because that was just a bridge too far.
Wow.
So what ended up happening?
What ended up happening is my mother ended up having to swallow her pride because so many of the women in there wanted to hear this information because they were looking around saying, you're right, I am by myself. My daughters are by themselves. My boys are emasculated. We did just do this. And they start talking about the church and this and that. And I was like, well, you can't talk about, I was like, the religious piece or not, we have to look at the 60s when you talk about the welfare state, such and so forth. And, and here's the beautiful part. A lot of them were alive at that time. And that's how it started off. I was like, remember in the 60s, up until the 60s, black men married at a rate of 80%. I know you're going to talk about how black men ain't this, ain't that. We don't marry white women. But until the 60s, broke or indifferent, black men married black women at a rate of 80%. Now black women are the least married. But do you remember what happened in the 60s when we were living on the east side and how many people left the east side and went to the projects when they got that check? But remember when the men had to leave? The women were sitting around like, yeah, I remember that happened. A lot of younger women hadn't heard it, so this is the first time they actually had to hear it from 60 plus year old, 55, 58, 60 plus year old women saying, yep, that did happen. And a lot of these women worked on the northwest side of town cleaning Miss Ann's house. My mom was one of those people. So all this is fresh on my mind, and we were on the hangout. Remember, I was there for a split second.
Okay.
So when I left the hangout, I was going to dinner and I saw this and I was like, oh, hell no. But it was a positive exchange.
Okay. Because like I said, it was, I really didn't want to get that deep into it because I know the feelings get kind of raw. And the more I actually put up, the more kind of resistance or opposition I got. So I put up, I put up more. I actually wanted that, I actually wanted to finish the actual series. It's like I'm done with it. It's over. But James Earl Jones just kind of blew up. And I'm still cleaning out the comment section.
Well,
the
James Earl Jones piece, as it stands, I mean, it was such a stark contrast. Him next to his woman. Oh yeah. And then when that woman, what was her, BP or whoever, put her comments, I was like, she couldn't have scripted a better response, and it was finally laid out in a succinct format. Bite-sized enough for everyone to recognize the truth. And the truth is so glaring, you can't look away from it.
Yeah, she's still pissed off about that.
But she can be pissed off, but when I saw what happened at my house yesterday, I didn't expect it to be a productive conversation. But I actually had women sitting there saying, yeah, we need to delve more into this because the state of the black community, we are at the top. We are running everything, and it is upside down. And I have some very attractive women in my family, but I was raised in a coven. Yeah.
And the BP said it's about color. It's a baby. It's not about color.
It's not about color.
And the whole series was not about what black men are doing. It's about what women believe about themselves, because it causes a whole lot of angst in their lives. But the thing is, they don't want to deal with that. It said if you would actually look at it and kind of work on it, fix it, you wouldn't have problems with your men like that. wouldn't have problems with colorism and featureism, all the other shit that you deal with. If you deal with the whole thing is that this myth of white womanhood, because like I said, Miss Ann was a very, very small fraction of the white community.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? When you come into a Thanksgiving dinner
Mm-hmm.
and there were 25 plus adults,
okay.
there was me, my stepfather, my two cousins, one of his cousins. So how many is that? Six?
Mm-hmm.
6 men? 6 men? The rest were women and children.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
There was one man from a baby boomer. He's my stepfather. The rest of us were Generation X. 2 of them were millennials.
Mm-hmm.
But every woman in there from millennial to infant, there were baby girls. You had everything from 6 months to 76. I was like, just look at our family. You got 6 men and 19 women and all these babies.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're at. No one wants to, I was like, you come in with girl had twins. She's 22 years old.
Wow. Okay.
No ring on her finger. My cousin, I'm like, we got to talk about it. And I think what I saw last night was the beginning of a conversation that we could have as a family. Because we all knew each other. We know where we came from. Your video just gave a format and a roadmap for a conversation.
Okay.
In concert with information coming from that, they don't know much about the red pill and MGTOW and third wave feminism, but they do know what happened when they had to go get those government benefits, and they remember when the men were.
Yeah. And in fact, I had a professor tell me, because that's his field of study. He said the men voluntarily left because they knew the children had to be fed.
Yes, I knew many men who, when on the northeast side, to move into the Second Street projects, I used to see my next door neighbor. He and his wife, him and his woman split because he couldn't get that factory job because he didn't have a union card. Yeah. So he either had to take odd and end job, and I was like, men were leaving their families in order to put them in a better position. They didn't know it was going to turn out this way. The women taking instructions from their men in some cases, but in more cases than not, saying we want better. I mean, bad choice in hindsight, yes, but that was the crux of the conversation. Until we we can talk about 40 acres and a mule, we can talk about everything we want to. The black man role and failing the family, failing the community, we have been examined ad nauseum. We got to examine your part of it too. And it can't be that the black woman has failed because of what the black man does. We can't take blame for ourselves and for you. And until you can take blame for you, we're never going to get any further, and you're going to continue to build this. So, man, I wish I'd have filmed it, honestly.
Yeah, it'd have been an interesting conversation to be had.
And the only reason it went anywhere is because my mother had to take a back seat because there were women of her cohort, age, generation in there. Because my mom was in there trying to do what most, I don't believe that, such and so forth, and white women and da-da-da. I was like, you're only doing that because you're my mother. And you got the high joker. I can't say certain things. But she had women in there who trumped her. Okay. They're like, no, Beverly, we don't want to have this conversation. He's right. He is your son. You're pulling out that mama card. That's not fair to play because you're shutting the conversation down. Plus, you married. I was like, oh shit. And that was my experience based on, I went through all 2,000 of those comments.
Did you? Really? Wow.
I did.
Wow.
How long did that take you?
I live this stuff, guys. When people say
how long did it take you to go through the 1,000 comments?
About 4.5 hours.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what happened to the food? Did you end up serving yourself?
Yeah.
You actually read them? I mean,
I went through the comments because I like to. I went through the comments. I replied to some. I wanted to get the entire conversation
Mm.
because I wanted to digest the information.
Well, maybe I should stop deleting the bad ones then and leave them up.
Well, but there's enough there.
Okay.
There's enough there. And here's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And, there were some people who came into the conversation who automatically were triggered when they saw James Earl Jones and that white woman.
Mm-hmm.
The women's comments weren't the issue. The issue I had was with the men's comments. Because we have been, and you could see the profile of the man that was coming in, basically a black male feminist, because your mama black, that kind of thing. That's the real impediment in this conversation because women are more likely, women know themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When hit with the truth, most women can say, yeah, that's me. But when the men come in white knighting and caping and such and so forth, it gives them cover to just live in this delusion. So that's what I was really focusing on in the comment section. All the men who were coming in siding with women in their irrational interpretation of what they saw versus just looking at the logical facts of it. So
yeah, I had to block the word coon because it kept coming up so much.
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to block the word coon. In fact, I had to send it to the, I had to send it to review because they're.
Oh, what's
he's
funny?
A coon. That's a coon. He's coon. That's, oh my goodness, I have to block.
We love that word.
Yeah.
What's funny about
I think you need to.
All right.
What you did, BS, is a real service. I think you need to leave it up.
Okay.
And let it go because YouTube's algorithm loves the comments. This is highly engaging, and this thing is going to go viral.
I'm telling you,
I've never seen that many comments on a video in like less than 2 weeks. This is ridiculous.
You captured lightning in a bottle because it's not just your opinion. See, it was easy to make you off of some nameless faces, so-called master teacher of the, blah, blah, blah with a cult. Yeah. But when you have James Earl Jones talking about it, and then you have a commenter, you can't, all these things come lining up with the same premise. Mm-hmm. And it can't be denied. That's why people are having to talk because it can't be dismissed.
No, it's one of those things. I never really wanted to be really known like that, but
too late.
I guess it's too late. So I just.
Well, it's like Rebecca Lynn Pope. When Rebecca Lynn Pope said, "I'm not a black female matchmaker anymore, so I can tell you the truth." Mm-hmm. That's what when you tell the truth. And you actually tell the truth that lines up with people's experiences, that's what tends to happen. That's why videos tend to go viral because we associate with them.
Yeah. Like you said, lightning in a bottle.
That's it.
Well, right now you're almost at 60K on that view. On that video.
I've seen it. Right? I've seen videos like 5 million views and whatnot, but I've never seen a video with that many comments. That's the
you're at least been having a block party, huh?
No, I'm above comment. I'm almost at 2,500 comments. Yeah, go ahead, Gigi.
What is your opinion on this view that I have?
A view that you have about what, Gigi?
About your videos. Whatever videos, you always teach us something. How come people are now relating into and say, oh, here it is, I learned something.
Because the video,
I don't understand.
Because the videos are there to uncover something that's uncomfortable.
But it doesn't matter if it's here and it exists. Then, why don't you?
Yeah, but black people have been covering this stuff up for so long that they don't want to uncover.
I don't know why she's over here asking Americans why.
Oh no, but it needs to be answered because I get that all the time. That. Because when women think I don't challenge black men, and I do all the time, it's just black men don't react the same way.
This one is different, though.
I see you pinned a new comment.
Oh, because she had so many responses. I didn't delete her. I pinned her comment. Yeah.
No, this is Karen, the other girl you pinned.
She deleted her comment. The one I pinned.
She deleted it.
She deleted her own comment.
Remember in the 90s when Sir Harazad Ali first started making the talk show rounds?
Yep, in 87
that
or 88.
was another lightning in the bottle because Gigi,
Yes.
We are, black people are really, really good with living in a delusional state.
Mhm.
Some because we've been trained and programmed.
Mm.
But this video, and these comments cut through the clutter and bullshit and get to the marrow of the bone. It's that when I see teenagers to 70-year-old women looking at a video and understanding it, that's something incredible.
Yeah. I had no clue that it was actually going to be that.
Who's snoring?
Wow. Come on, man.
Okay,
You know what's even worse is when Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, right after she passed away, what's his name, retweeted somebody talking major crap about her because they didn't like her stance on homosexuality, and they didn't like how she said,
Lamont Hill.
And it was him, and it was, what's the chick that used to fuck with Boy Swat? Turned on him.
ooh, Zaza Ali.
Oh, not Zaza Ali. No, she hasn't screwed Boyce yet, but she will soon enough.
Oh, Lord.
She'll do, because he did that to Griff. She's just waiting for another dude to find.
I've noticed like a lot of black feminists and a lot of like black gays, they don't like, I can never pronounce her name, but
Shahrazad.
Her, and they don't like Frances Cress Welsing either.
Because they're old school black power females, and they don't play. They don't go around beating up gay people as they are, but they don't want to promote it as a regular lifestyle.
But I just thought that was so low class how they did that right after she died.
It's so wrong. It really did. Jason Black looked them both up for that. And Mark Lamont Hill apologized for that, and so did Yvette Carnell, because the way they did it was so, just from an academic standpoint, that's like so cowardly, especially somebody like Frances Cress Welsing, who she spent her entire life debunking.
Yeah, she did.
Socialist.
It cost her a lot of money by doing that.
I mean, that's a woman that lived and died.
Yeah, I talked to a few professors that gave up a lot of money in positions to actually speak the truth. Go ahead, Kevin. I know your time's limited.
Let me say, I would say this, as far as the YouTube algorithm goes, this is the time of year where people get the most subscribers and the most views. Don't be surprised if you don't start getting requests to come on people's shows or start. I think you captured something here, and it was very beneficial. There's no way I could have had that conversation with my family yesterday without that.
Really?
And having women actually wanting to learn and hear more. No one was screaming. There was no hollering. There was no neck rolling. It was all leaning into the conversation. I mean, I've never seen my family like this.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not like this.
Just
when a man says something, a black man talking about the state of the black community and talking about black and white women, you usually gonna get some something.
Yeah.
It was none of that.
Okay.
So,
I'm stunned about.
So, you let the haters and the people in the comment section, the nameless, faceless, if someone doesn't have a name by a face by an avatar, I don't even give them any credit. But, I'm going to go ahead and give up my spot because I'm sure there are other people out there.
I appreciate you stopping by, man. I'm honored, man. I'm honored that it touched people, because I thought it was just it's something I thought about and just something I wanted to put up. I didn't think it was going to be that big a deal, but I guess it was.
Yeah, it is. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, Kevin.